Dr. Michael Naidoo, school manager for Mancosa School of Education, says teachers need to master not just the technical use of digital platforms, but also digital pedagogy. This includes the ability to design, deliver, and assess learning effectively using technology. Now, competencies such as navigating learning management systems such as the LMS, integrating multimedia resources, applying data analytics to track learner program, and maintaining cybersecurity awareness are crucial. We do have my guest on the line who's going to unpack this with me. It's Dr. Michael Naidoo. Thank you so much for joining us on Tech Africa, Doctor.
Thank you, Puleng. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, I mean, I can't stress enough just how much we appreciate our teachers today. I don't know if you want to say something specifically to that in honor of the day.
Yeah, I just want to wish all teachers a happy, a fruitful World Teachers Day. It's a day where you just put up your feet and we recognize you for the wonderful work that you undertake in the classroom and for developing our future generation in a constantly changing digital world.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I gave my teacher, my short teacher story, memorable teacher that I'll never forget, who saw potential in me and always pushed me from as back as grade 3 or grade 2. She would say, well, you write English so well. So she used to make me write English composition, and then she would make me stand up in class and read it. And that built my confidence. And I enjoyed it. Then I graduated to now making poems at school, doing sketches. Then I did my first TV gig at the age of 15. Then she later became like a mother figure in my life. So, man, I can't stress just how teachers actually essentially make us. Dr. Naidoo, still there?
Absolutely. Yes, I'm here. I think without teachers, where is our future generation? They upskill our learners, our children, in not only the content, not only the syllabus, but also the morals and the ethics in our modern 21st century world, let alone the technology that drives it.
So, Doctor, why is it so urgent for African education systems to prioritize digital skills for teachers right now?
Pulling the world, I think over the last 10 years, to go 15 years is too much. To go 10 years and you look at how people communicate, how we take on our daily tasks, banking, shopping, education. The world has moved to a position where we are technology driven, whereby we are global citizens. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the ability to communicate across continents was difficult. Now it's at the touch of a button. Collaboration is there. The world has changed. Because the world has changed so much, including the education sphere, the old methods of education, the traditional methods of education, are no more effective in the modern classroom. Therefore, our teachers need to upskill themselves. Two parts, one on digital literacy, to get to you to know the tools that you can use in a classroom. But also there needs to be an important differentiation between digital literacy and digital pedagogy, 21st century learning. It's not only using technology in the classroom to support and underpin the lessons, but it is the ability to actively use technology in the delivery of lessons, in the assessment of lessons, in the tracking of students through data analysis. So, because the world has changed, we need to prepare our children, our learners, especially on the African continent, with our challenges that we may have, in order to survive as effective global citizens in a world that is technology driven.
And Doctor, of the things that you are stressing today with the teachers is upskilling themselves. And I sit here wondering, back in my day, teachers would be told in the classroom, they're going for training. The teachers have gone for training. And I think back in the day, then it will be specifically on the syllabus. Whose responsibility is it to bring the teachers up to speed?
Thank you for that, Puleng. So I also remember those days, often where teachers used to go off and you had a free lesson or the afternoon was off. But I think especially you look at over the last 5 years, Puleng, over the last 2 years, since AI has come into the picture significantly, professional development, it's no longer an option. Continuous professional development, lifelong learning has to be instilled in our teachers. And the responsibility sits not only with the teachers, it sits with the Department of Education, it sits with our governments, because to ensure that professional development is truly effective, one has to look at the microcosm and the macrocosm. We need to be innovative. We need to change our policies. We need to change our curriculum. We need to offer training to teachers. And we also need to align the syllabus to the changes that have happened. We need to create a context for change. So it's not only the responsibility of the teachers to say, look, I need to upskill. It is the responsibility of all of us, including parents, that support the teaching and the learning environment, to create that situation where teachers are allowed to adapt and change. The question is, how? How do we do that? We do that by creating a structure whereby teachers are able to slowly adapt to a changing environment. But Puleng, to answer your question, the responsibility is shared by everyone. And it must not be a passive sort of transition. It needs to be an active involvement, an active change, and support. That's the only way that teachers are going to move from the traditional setup into the modern setup. And it's not to say that teachers on the African continent have not done so successfully already. There are teachers that have navigated, that have been proactive, they have moved across, and they are leaders in the 21st century classroom. But to get the professional development on a further platform, to expand it so all teachers can take on the journey into 21st century learning, that responsibility is shared by everyone. And it has to come, I think, primarily with the support from government together with the resources that come with it. Thank you.
And Doctor, what kind of digital competencies are most critical for teachers in today's age?
The term that's often used these days is 21st century learning. So I think the journey up to now with teachers has been to use technology, but not on an integrated way in order to develop learners or the curriculum. It's been used in a more passive way in classrooms. But I think the drive is for teachers now to move the mindset onto the paradigm of 21st century learning. Pulling 21st century learning is technology driven, but it also focuses on ethics and morals that are aligned with the 17 Sustainable Developmental Goals of the United Nations. And so it is not only developing a learner in terms of content or that is subject specific, but it is also developing learners that have ethics, morals that can survive in a global world. I think that mindset from just using technology to facilitate learning to actively integrate it into the new paradigm of 21st century learning, that's one key digital competency that teachers need to have. The other thing is digital competencies will vary. So the idea behind one size fits all has moved away to it being more contextually orientated. A teacher in a rural setup might require different competencies from a teacher in an urban setup. And so the mindset is to always look at the situation or the context in which the teacher is in. Yeah. So the technological skills or competencies that teachers require may differ according to the context in which they are in. Thank you.
So, Dr. Nen, I want to look at how to bridge the divide then. I mean, you mentioned the competencies will vary from being in a rural setting as well as in the urban area. How can then educational institutions begin to bridge the divide?
A lot of it, Puleng, comes from based in South Africa. It comes from the legacy in which South Africa was in. The divide is due to the rural setup, urban setup. It is an issue that has prevailed over the years, but it is becoming narrower. When I say it is, the digital divide, and it becomes narrower by institutions such as Mancosa, such as the School of Education at Mancosa, taking an active approach. And an active approach involves a different mechanisms. The first is to look at infrastructure and resources. And what we try and do is develop partnerships with non-government organizations, NGOs, which can support us to deliver the resources and the infrastructure necessary to facilitate digital learning, to facilitate technology in the classroom. So it's definitely through partnerships with government, partnerships with non-government organizations, because Puleng, without the infrastructure, without the resources, then the technology-driven pedagogy, 21st century learning cannot take place. So that's one. Active partnerships with affiliations that can support the drive towards digital education. The other aspect is to develop scalable solutions. Students that come to Mancosa, come to the School of Education, come to us from various contexts. Some of them are tech savvy, some of them are somewhere in the middle, some of them are beginning their technological journey in terms of education. And it is the responsibility of higher tertiary education, such as Mancosa, such as the School of Education, to ensure that the playing field is flattened or it is made equitable. And we do that by ensuring that the short courses are contextualized, or the further training that we offer allows learners to benefit in the situation that they are in. As I mentioned before, a teacher in a more rural context will require maybe mobile solutions or basic ICT training, whereas a student coming in or a teacher coming in an urban setup might require a higher level of training in the digital setup in terms of imparting or using high-end edu tools or edu apps in the classroom. And so to answer your question, I think it's through partnerships, definitely, to support infrastructure and resources, and the ability of higher tertiary education institutions to provide scalable solutions, solutions that work in different setups.
I think
And I think
yes.
yes, go for it. Sorry, yeah.
No, I was wrapping up our conversation there, but we still have a bit more time, Doctor. You may proceed.
Yeah. So I also think it's about making sure that the students that come in not only use the technology Puleng. AI in October is definitely not going to be the same AI in November. The capability is going to change. And that's just using one example. So technology is constantly changing. So what we try and do at the School of Education is not only impart the technological literacy, the aspect of how to use the tools, and that we do in short courses, in long courses, where students come into the iTeach labs. We've got 3 iTeach labs in Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Durban. These are state-of-the-art labs that have digital tools that can be used in the classroom. So students come in and they learn how to use these tools in the classroom. However, we also teach them digital fluency, the ability to adapt to change. What might be current today in the classroom might not be current or as effective a month later or a year later. So we also teach them in the I Teach labs, the students, the ability to adapt.
Right, Doctor, thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for chatting to us this morning. We are almost out of time. I do appreciate making time for to talk to us on Tech Africa.
Thank you. Thank you, Puleng, for the opportunity. Again, just a really big thank you to the teachers out there that do a tremendous job. And sometimes they are not recognized as fully as they should. From myself, from Mancosa, from the School of Education, I want to reaffirm our commitment to create teachers that can not only adapt to the change, that can lead the change through creativity. We have leadership instilled in our programs. We have entrepreneurial skills entrenched in our programs. So it allows our teachers not only to adapt, as I said, to the change, but to be change agents, to lead the change, and be able to create effective global citizens of the 22nd century. Thank you.
Absolutely. From School of Education, Mancosa, it's Dr. Michael Naidoo, who's school manager there. Thank you so much for talking to us once again.
Thank you.
All right, with just 3 minutes remaining before top of the hour, 11 Central African time, Matapelo Mahape will give us the last bulletin of the day. Then we are co-hosting with Goodwill Tomo, who will be sitting on the other side of this desk, where we're teaching him. Hopefully he will grasp the concept of radio broadcast in an hour. And let's see, maybe if he does a very good job, we'll make a short list of the top 5 of all that we have co-hosted with. I know we did Gift Makoti. Who else was here on the driver's seat, on the hot seat rather? We had Give Makoti, then we have him today. So we'll, if they do a good job, we'll do like a top 5, and then we'll see. We'll narrow it down to the top 3, and then at the end of the day, at the end of the year, we'll choose a winner who did a good job in terms of co-hosting, and see if we'll bring them back one last time. By then, they would have grasped driving a show like this. It's not as easy as it looks, or as easy as it sounds if you are listening to us and not streaming. Also, you can do both. You do know all you have to do really is to go to YouTube, Channel Africa, and then you can stream us live. And let's see if he has the radio chops. This morning is Goodwill Tomo, who is your go-to guy when it comes to entertainment news, specifically what celebrities are getting up to, who got fired, who got hired, who got suspended, and all of that, and so much.